Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by a fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
Alright, in this video I'm going to share with you why having a family, getting married or having children is slightly overrated. But at the same time I'll try to balance the argument, because I don't want especially youngsters who watch my videos to get the wrong idea, because they keep saying, oh, having children is a waste of time, having family, get rid of women, that kind of negativity I don't want. So I'll try to balance it out, but feel free to put your comments and thoughts down below. In case you're new to my channel, my name is Loy Machedo. I specialize in helping people get well-paying jobs in Dubai, especially UAE, Middle East. And then I get requests about Canada, Australia, Europe. And people book my services for coaching and consulting on various topics and issues, especially stuff they cannot share with anyone. So details are put down below. Now, I wish I could show you my house right now. The house right now is a total and utter mess. And it has been a total and utter mess since 2 days. Especially given the fact that my little baby girl, she has a holiday. Whenever she has a holiday, what she does is she takes her toys. Her toys are like this, vegetables and fruits and dolls clothes, and I literally buy for her a toy almost every alternate day. Not too expensive stuff, cheap. So you can imagine the entire floor of the house is littered with toys. Then on top of that, there is also, she likes to play with clay. So there is bits and pieces of clay, sticky clay, almost everywhere around the house, on the walls. Then there is, coloring crayons. That also, some places she has colored and drawn. And then you get, she likes to finger paint. So she has finger painted the walls, she has finger painted papers. Once she even made the big mistake of finger painting and coloring one of my books, which I had a very strong discussion with my wife, that she was telling it's a baby. I said, if it's a baby and you can't handle it, you and your baby, when it's anger, it's your baby. When it's love, it's our baby. I said, you both stay in the village until you know how to discipline. Automatically, she was able to control and discipline my baby. Because all it takes is communication. You will not believe, before on my books on the shelves, it was plastered with food, baby food, which is sticky and all that, plastered on my books. And all these books I have purchased, each one from like original hard copies and some collector's edition. So you can imagine the damage. Finally, now it is okay. Now my baby knows not to do that initially. Okay, so, and on top of that, there is food that my baby eats. She loves to eat chocolates, she loves to drink juice, milk, and then obviously she'll eat normal food, rice and all that. And when she eats, she likes to run around and play and jump. So there is food bits in remote corners of the house. So overall, if you can picture all that I've told you, the house is an incredible mess. So much so that if I have to walk, I have to look down, move my leg. It's like walking on a mine. Thankfully, my workstation or my studio is out of reach. You can't enter there. Still, my daughter, being mischievous, likes to once in a while just hop in and bring in her toys, and then I have to state the rules and throw all of it out. Okay. So I gave you one scenario, just one. By the way, in case you have 4 to 5 children, I know that you will be making fun of me. Ha ha ha. You are talking of one, I have 5. Great. You are far advanced than me. You're a legend. But I'm not talking about you having 5 kids. Talking of me with 1 kid. Okay, now I just gave you just in terms of toys and making the house a mess. I want you to factor, that is point number 1. Point number 2. You see me making a video outside. Why do I do that? Well, 1 is I like a little bit of variety. But 2 is, if I wanted to make a video in the house, my daughter sometimes would get a creative moment and start screaming and shouting or throwing something or some disturbance. And obviously when you're making a video, you do not want wee mama wee boo babu. It destroys your chain of thought. Thankfully my wife can control the baby, but still sometimes you're not able to hear, but I can hear. I can remove these background sounds with software, but you can't hear because I have a microphone in front of me, so it picks up only my sound, but I can hear the disturbance. So it kind of disturbs my chain of thought. Now that's another one. Number 3 is, if the baby is sick, which currently the baby is, has cough, cold, plenty of mucus. So what my baby does is take a tissue, blow a little bit, which the mother has trained, and throw. So the whole house is littered with tissue. And nighttime, she can't sleep. So obviously my wife keeps getting up. And I also, when I hear noise, I want to know the baby's okay. So there also, that's another responsibility we have to undertake. The most biggest headache for me is when my baby wants to poop and piss. Well, she definitely uses a pamper, but what she does is she comes to either me or my wife and tells, can you put the pamper for me? Like in a baby language. I put. And that is not a problem, and actually I applaud my baby for doing that. What is a problem is her shit stinks. Everyone's shit stinks. I don't know, babies have this extra smelly, extra strong tear gas, humanity ending nuclear bomb kind of shit smelling foul stuff. And I'll tell you, the whole house starts smelling of that, which but that is also bearable. But my baby somehow has this, I don't know, fascination. When she is pooping and pissing, she has to come and talk to me or stand next to me. I don't know. Looking at me, maybe the shit comes faster. So when she puts a pamper, I make sure I get out of the house. And if I have a client, I lock the door. And I've taught her and told my wife, please make sure she doesn't knock. Maybe because there is air conditioning in my room, my system, so she likes to stand there at school, or I don't know, maybe looking at me, she gets loose motion faster. I don't know what it is. But man, it's foul and And the worst one is when my wife goes for shopping and I'm supposed to keep the baby busy, and then she wants to shit. And then because she's afraid of being alone, my wife has made this new vampire story for her to behave. Well, daddy is a hero, right? So where there's a vampire, she has to stand next to dad. Now you can imagine my predicament. So what I do is I sit outside, I put on the fan if there's no wind, and I'm just reading a book or doing whatever it takes that I don't get the smell. So I've given you a few challenges a parent faces when having a child. I'm very aware that there are many of you who have children who are going to colleges, and some have 5 children, and you feel, oh, I'm better off than you. I agree with you 100%. I admire the fact that you have taken it on you to have more than one child. I don't know how some people have more than one child. In fact, I don't even know how people have one child. But some of you want 2 children. I've been advised, Loy, balance it out. 1 girl, 1 boy. Yeah, what if the next one's a girl? Then you should work hard until you get a boy. Yeah, who, your father is going to pay the bills? As it is, my wife can't take care, and it's so much of a headache. Now, I know this sounds like a rant, which it is. And I know that I'm sounding ungrateful, because there are many families that want a child and don't have. And I have to be grateful for my child is normal and my child is a good child. But this video is not about gratitude. Rather, it is to tell you, these are some of the challenges you'll face. And then on top of that, if you want to be a good parent, not just a parent for the sake of, I produced a kid, that's it, take care, then it's a bigger headache. My wife, thankfully, has taken that role. But 24/7, the kid is with 24/7. I'm not joking, huh? She'll say, ma, ma, ma. She said, because in Thailand it is me, not ma, me. Just imagine a baby tends to repeat the same word until she gets the attention. So she goes, me. And sometimes I have to listen to it 15 minutes because my wife, she herself is fed up. And then when I'm alone, my kid comes to me, Papa, she says, and she'll continue saying Papa till I turn my head, listen to her, do what she wants. And it doesn't end with one. There are multiple requests. Then you can imagine when the child is sick, coughing, vomiting, you can't sleep the whole night, man. So this is one aspect of the child. Then obviously you have to factor in if you have a spouse. Thankfully your spouse will not shit and poop and piss and wear diapers and make the house a mess. Thankfully my wife she is a homemaker. But keep in mind, once you have taken the responsibility of having a life partner, it's not you alone. Every choice, every situation, every decision that you make, like you want to go to eat food, you can't just go alone. What about her? You want to go do something somewhere, go for a drive. Don't you think your spouse would want to also join you? And thankfully, in my case, I don't have friends and don't have a desire to go outing and all that. So my wifey, she's with me most of the time. But I can tell you, normal relationships, normal. Mine is not normal. I'm not normal. My wife is not normal. Our relationship is not normal. You'll always have the wish list of items to buy. Your spouse would want to buy maybe expensive clothes or clothes. Women never wear the same clothes again and again, most of them, especially today's generation. They'll buy shoes, they'll buy trousers, they'll buy dresses, skirts, saris, tops, jewelry, makeup. All these are necessary. It's not unnecessary stuff. And obviously when you're in the corporate world, you can multiply this into like 4 times. Now, if you're lucky, and the wife is earning, then she'll not take from you. But if she's not earning, then you have to provide. Otherwise, she's going to be unhappy. And if she's earning less, you'll have to help her make the difference. After all, she's dedicated her life to you. You're the man. You want to keep that respect. And then there are other moments where you have to spend quality time. You have to take them out. You have to be with them. You have to listen to them. Romance, sex. They're human beings, right? They're not machine. And you can't spend time with your friends and all that. Otherwise, you'll spend time with your friends, she'll spend time with her friends. Yours is not a family. And then, if you're a normal family, like the typical Indian one, you're expected to meet the female and her relatives. You're expected to meet her parents. You're expected to spend time with her friends' parents, her parties, her get-togethers. The demands never end. So now, given that I've given you a litany of challenges and problems, what is the good side to this? What is the bright side? In fact, the question is, Loy, then if you are so bitter about this, why the hell did you get married? That also the fourth time. This is where I want to balance it out. In my groups, there's this 22-year-old boy who is completely fascinated with my content. And he believes in being alone, solitude, being, without family, friends. I sent him a message and told him, see, listen, my advice is not infallible. I'm not God, whichever religion that is. And it's not that my advice is a one-size-fits-all template for everyone. It doesn't work out that way. What I might say for myself may be true only for me. I told him, cherry pick what works for you at this particular moment. Maybe 5 years from today, my advice will be outdated. Who knows, maybe 5 years from today, I'll change. I have changed from 36. When I was 36, I used to tell people, it's a joke to get married. It's a joke to have children. You're stupid. You should be alone, single. Enjoy life. Imagine 10 years ago. And today I tell people, when it's time, you have to get married. So why should you get married with all these challenges? Why should you have a child? See, to answer this question, I can tell you, each one, every single human being has a different reason. Some people will say it's God's will. Some people will say this is what our religion, tradition, culture says. Some people will say this is what I want, a settled life. Some people say my parents want this. Some people believe everyone in our family did it, I also do it. And then you have, those are okay, traditional reasons, but then you have retarded reasons. Hey, I need someone to have sex with. Seriously. Even me, when I was in my 20s, I was thinking, if I marry someone hot and beautiful, free sex every day. What I didn't know is, sex is every day, it's not free. It is 10 times more expensive. With 10 times more the headache. So, why marry? See, as you get older, this is my reason, mine. I can be wrong, but this is my reason that works for me. As you get older, you realize you're not Superman. You realize you're not invincible, infallible. You realize that you can get sick, and when you're sick, maybe your mother will not be there, father will not be there, nobody will be there. You realize that there are days where you'll feel alone and lonely, and you're not looking out only for sex. You're looking for a friend to talk to, someone you can just share your feelings without being judged. You're looking for someone to trust. And I'll tell you this, unless a female she knows there is your skin in the game, like they say, no, you have something to lose if she's not there. Only then she will go out of the way to be with you, to be your true friend, to talk to you, to listen to you. See, with my wifey, she's not all that a liability. I know this sounds very crude saying it, not a liability, but she supports me in taking care of me every day when I get up. If she's up, coffee is served. I know you'll say, oh, so you need wife for tea and coffee. Just listen. Just listen. She's the housewife. I'm the bread earner. So we play our roles. She, coffee, tea, whatever. I have a carbonated water. We call it sparkling. Then after I make my video, I go out. When I come back, okay, shower, everything. And then, planning the day out. If, anything you need for shopping and all that. Suppose I have a customer, client. She say, you need anything, I'll prepare it for you. And then obviously that friend who, if I have any issues or problems, if I have to discuss, which I normally don't, because I believe in she can't help me with the solution, it's good to talk to someone. And then the other things like sex, and you notice I bring sex to the last bit. But I'll tell you the part which really makes a massive difference. The day you're sick, the day you're not well, that person is there for you. When I had food poisoning and I was going to die, actual die, she sat with the baby, holding that time the baby was hardly a few months. And she made sure I was taken care of, calling the doctor once, twice in the night when she got afraid something was happening. The true friendship is there. And, it's not just about you, man. I think for me, being with someone, I'm more grounded. I know that I have to save money for someone else, sacrifice for someone else. It stops being a selfish thing, which is kind of good sometimes. See, I'll be lying to you if I didn't tell you that, oh man, there are days where I just want to be alone. Just get up in the morning, no noise, nobody in the house, make my coffee, house is clean, spick and sparkling. If my maid comes and cleans the house one day before, the next day it's like, staying in a 5-star hotel. Everything is the way you kept it. But after marriage, you keep it in one way, you get up the next day. One is, nothing is in place. Everything goes where she wants. But if that is not worse enough, everything is a mess. Because maybe she got up in the middle of the night to eat something. So, and for a guy who's moody when he gets up, and he just wants to make a cup of coffee, to see the whole place a bloody mess with food items and dirty plates and flies and you'll understand only if you travel and you've stayed in hotels and all that, how important it is to have a super clean, ready place. That's why my room is locked. That's why nobody comes in. They do, but very rarely. So yeah, I do miss being alone. But when my wife goes for holiday to her hometown, I get my 1 month, 2 month, whatever. And finally, with regards to a baby, that also depends on person to person, priority to what is your priority. It differs from person to person. In my case, I just knew if I had to have a child, it had to be now, because I was 40 years old. I mean, if I'm 40 and the child is born, by the child finishes college, that is after 20 years, I'll be 60. So at least I'll be working. So you calculate that way. If I would have a child when I was 45, By the time the child finishes college, I'm 65. And then obviously I don't want to be something like Al Pacino, 80-year-old and have a baby. I mean, you're 80, 90 years old. You'll die in 1 year. We'll take care of the child. Unless the mother is like, perfectly okay, I'll get half your wealth, millions and billions, you can fuck her. You can bugger off, fuck off. Well, then it depends from person to person. Like I said, each one's priority is different. But in my case, I wanted to go through the phase of having a child. You know, when you have a pet, you change. Especially if you're a responsible pet owner. You change in the sense that you care about your pet. I used to literally laugh when I would read in the papers, this man spent $1,000 to give medicines or take care of the pet with the doctor. I myself ended up spending, I think, $2,500–3,000 just for a single operation for my, that time, Pomeranian. And then when my other dog, female, had a baby, again I spent money, I think $500. And then her stitches opened and her intestine, everything came out. I didn't care how much money it took. I said, save my dog. Oof, it was terrible. And this happened when that time wifey took her for a walk and suddenly she was screaming and she saw the intestine and she, asked someone, please help. And she went and got a towel and held it this way. Oof. When you really love something, you don't care what it takes to take care. So yeah, that is where you stop being selfish and thinking about yourself. You think about this new life. For me, overall, if I were to give it a nutshell, I've always stated, get married. You need to get married. If you want to grow as a human being, you must. That is the circle of life. But don't get married if you genuinely believe you're not ready for it. If you're not willing to compromise, if you're not willing to put your expectations, especially there are many females and guys whose expectations, sun, moon and stars. They want Jesus Christ's character, wallet of Bill Gates, looks of Chris Hemsworth, physique of some UFC fighter. They want an understanding, mature guy like some psychologist. But they themselves are the most bloody irritating, unbelievably incorrigible, selfish person who you cannot stand for more than a few minutes. But then they expect perfection and then they say, oh, I haven't found the right one. No, even if you find the right one doesn't want to be with you. Why the hell should someone better than you want to be with you when he can get someone much more better than you? People live in their deluded world of fooling themselves that they are God's gift to mankind. No, you are a liability, you are a headache. Nobody wants to spend their life with you. They'll give all the bullshit reasons. My mother didn't want, father didn't want, culture. Because they know you're a liability for marriage. You're just good for sex and fun and talking like a friend. No strings attached. So marriage, when you feel you're ready to take on that responsibility and be loyal and faithful to it, after you've done all your shit, it changes you. I didn't think, maybe because I didn't know how I would change. Today, if you see me grounded, focused, working, responsible, leadership, this thing, not wanting to sleep around with other girls, thinking of money, savings, thinking of my wife's future, kids' future, being a more disciplined man. It's because of them. Otherwise, I would still be the crazy guy. You can check my previous videos, man. Check 10 years ago. Even today, sometimes, like before I would use 10 fucks in a sentence. I didn't give a damn. Today, when I'm with my baby, I think, is it necessary? See, if it is really, and I'm really feeling it, and I say it, I don't give a fuck about it. I might just say it. But for attention, all that, no, not required. Before it was only me. I want this, I want that. Today when I want to buy something, I think, what about baby? Maybe she will like some French fries. Maybe she'll like a burger. Why am I eating alone? If I drive down and go by myself to where I want, hey, Brownie, what are you doing, Brownie? So if I were to go to a restaurant, I think, what about wifey? Maybe she wants to go out. So I ask. Thankfully, she's not very insistent. But that's funny because I'm insistent. I want the family to come. So for me, I don't know about others, for me it has made me a much better human being. But it's not without its headaches and challenges. And when you're in your 20s, just don't think about it, because that's not the age for you. There are some people who can take on responsibility at a young age, but I told you, it's me. I can't. I wouldn't. And as someone like me who was distracted, social media, girls, attention, fun, travel, independence, don't. And like I told you, the most important bit is the money. Don't have the money, boss. Remember, you're taking on the responsibility of another human being. You have to provide if you're the man. You don't depend on her. And yes, the typical sacrifices that come with being a married man. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you. You guys let me know, what do you think? Agree, disagree? But if I were to summarize in one line, I would tell you, marriage is a responsibility. It's not a game. Think 100 times before you get married. Because not only your life, it's the life of another person, and the entire family is, if you're a family man. Your mother, father, her mother, father. And yes, legally, the laws of the country apply. Things don't work out, you'll have trouble. This is what I wanted to share. Let me know your thoughts. Good, bad, ugly. We're signing off. Yes, take care.